And are we live yet? Are we live yet? We are live. Welcome, everyone, to Modwain's House of Fun. And today we are going to have an interesting topic brought to us, by the good people of Pink Pussyheads and the Women March. And let's see if I can share the articles that we are going to talk about. This has been brought up by Rin. She really wanted to talk about this one. The Pink Pussyheads and the reasons why feminists are ditching them. And to us, this is, I can't say, no, this is reality. This is the epitome of where identity politics will take us. But, Rin, considering that you were the one that thought this would be a great topic, I totally agree with you, by the way. But because you thought, do you want to kick it off?
For me, the words on your screen looks too small to me. If you have a copy of the article, or I could just look on Twitter.
Wait a sec. Oh, that's a little bit too big, perhaps. Come on. How's this?
Yeah, I can read that.
There you go.
A year ago, they stormed the streets of big cities and small towns to make their views known. Women's rights are human rights. Many wore on their heads what became the de facto symbol of feminism in 2017, the Pink Pussy Hats.
Yeah. And let's scroll up a bit. Come on. No.
The Women's March is back in 2018 with its Power to the Polls anniversary protest on the weekend of January the 20th through the 21st. The focus during this Women's March reboot is to register more women to vote and to elect women and progressive candidates to public office. When it says progressive candidates, I don't take it that they like Republican women too well.
That sort of, that gives us that idea that they just like certain types of women, which is quite sexist, in fact.
Yeah, like if you're a Republican woman, they don't like you too much. That's the reason why they mention progressive candidates, because if you're a woman but you're not a progressive, they don't want you.
And it's scary that they think that they actually are being justified in doing this. And John, I sent it to your Skype, mate.
Knowing that
sure, I said the right one.
In the last election of the United States of America 1 year ago, about 54% of women voted for the orange one.
One.
Well, I hate to make this talk about Trump again, and this is something a lot of people don't seem to understand. But at the beginning of the how do you call it, the pre-elections for the Republican candidate, it has a name, I forgot the name. I called out that I assumed Trump wouldn't make it. Hell, I made a video about the us versus them mentality that reigned, and I didn't think he would do it because basically he's polarizing as well. Or at least I saw him as polarizing back then. I have to admit that even though I did not expect him to get there. Hey, John, welcome, mate.
Hi, mate.
I didn't expect him to get there. I am surprised and amazed that not only did he get there, but he got a lot of shit done as well. And somehow we're talking about Trump when this is not about Trump. So,
well,
sorry.
The original protest a year ago in his inauguration with the Women's March with the Pussyheads was actually a response to his faux controversy, which was actually consensual, of him grabbing them by the pussy.
Yeah. Which was such a big deal. Never mind that Clinton defended a rapist, knowing full well that he was guilty. was married to a rapist, knowing full well that he was guilty, and had friends that were rapists, knowing full well that they were guilty. No, it's anyway.
We must,
so yeah,
we must maintain the narrative.
We must maintain the narrative, but that's the thing. And when the Pussyhat shit happened, there were plenty of memes and plenty of reasons to point out why the Pussyhats were stupid. But the most important thing that I nearly saw no one mention, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it, I think I did, but I might be wrong. If we look at the original Women's March with the inauguration of Trump, feminists that were pro-life were not welcome. So the movement was already eating itself.
Yes.
How amazing was that? And I'm not sure. I hope I did it in a video as well, but I mentioned it back then, or I called it back then, that, this is the end of feminism. Feminism has got to die now. It can't continue because it's eating itself. And now, I mean, Pussyhats, they were the fucking symbol they chose.
Yeah, I agree, but at the exact same time, I also have to agree with people like Irate Bear. I think it was Irate Bear. It was somebody, I forgot who, that it also seems like either the anti-feminist community is either dying or at least splitting off into its different sections. Like Irate Bear talking about how Sargon is going to do the liberalist thing, and Andy Worski is doing his own thing. And then he talked about how Blair White and that side is doing like their own thing. And it's kind of like a part of the fallout between the Based Mama scandal and the Based Mama and the Carlton Tea server scandal, where next thing you know, there are a lot of, I guess, alt-rights people on Twitter and race realist people on Twitter. You just saw them dominate on Twitter because many of them were laughing at Sargon, making fun of Sargon, the way he was debating Richard Spencer. You see multiple people on Twitter saying that he lost, and Richard Spencer totally pawned him, and Richard Spencer completely humiliated
Bryn,
him.
Sorry, can I just interrupt on that point? I caught the first part of I watched something anyway, and it was talking about if two people are arguing and they've got totally different points of view, if neither does really badly, the people who you support, that's who you thought won.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's bias.
So what happens is, I saw immediately after the Sargon Spencer debate, a lot of Americans saying, "Yeah, Sargon was stupid." Actually, Brian Logan did it, and I'm like, "No, he wasn't stupid. He was just, arguing a different argument, and they were arguing past each other."
He was disinterested. I felt that Sargon was disinterested in that argument, that quote-unquote debate.
So it can be very deceptive to say, "Oh, all the supporters claim to have won." Yeah, both sides, all their supporters claim to have won.
Yeah.
That is unfortunately natural psychology.
It's kind of how bias works, to be honest.
Well, actually, I am part of Sargon's Reddit. Sargon's Reddit, and people in Sargon's Reddit, even they were like, "Well, Sargon didn't do that much of a good job." So this would be Sargon's own supporters saying that Sargon didn't do a good job.
Well, I love Sargon. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk now for a sec. I hate it when I have to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck you.
No.
I love Sargon. I really do. And I love the points he makes. Sargon is a great guy. He's not a great debater. He really isn't. And it's almost as if people like to think that he is. But no, I mean, he knows his stuff. He's really smart. He's not a great debater.
He's intellectual.
I agree with you, Modwain. It's like I like Sargon. I've liked many of and shared many of his videos around. I actually was his Patreon. But when it comes to debating, he didn't really do that much of a good job debating. I mean, Sticks did a much better job than he did, because Sticks actually brought up some really good points.
I think the problem is, so you were talking about the fragmentation of what was for a time a very cohesive but very diverse anti-SJW community. And so Sargon has a lot of fans who came to him because of that, who are ideologically very different.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying, so in a debate about a different topic, now tackling the right instead of the left, some of those people who were drawn to Sargon will actually be going, oh, no, I don't like this guy. I don't agree with him. I think he's wrong there.
Yeah.
Well, this reminds me of a video I saw by a guy, I think his name is like 40 Ouncer, and he says that, Sargon talks about, I think he was saying negative issues, like it's kind of like he was speaking against feminism, which could attract a wide range of people. Yeah. You could attract, the alt-rights, you could attract the libertarians, the NCAPs. You're going to attract so many different people when you speak against feminism, but he is not really all that good with talking about positive issues like what he's for, because the moment you start talking about what you're for, that's the moment you will start alienating people that originally supported you.
Yeah, that was exactly the point. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the article.
Just to conclude the article, just to answer, bound and conclude that part that we talked about Sargon, which was not really about the article, but it is a good point. If I may summarize this, Sargon is not a good debater. There are no good debaters anywhere. Some are stronger than one point, some are stronger than others. But Sargon was not trying to debate. He was going in there mocking, because there's no real debate to be had in that stream. There was no real debate to be had. The tribalism on all sides will blind everyone to the other person's, other side's points. They will just not consider them. And I've experienced that, and I knew what I was getting into, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's funny to recognize, I guess.
Exactly. If you recognize that you will not change the other side's opinion, no matter what you can do or present to them, you just say, okay, I can't change your mind. Fine. Goodbye. Basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the article. The Pussyhats.
Yeah, let's get back to the article. Before we go back, Eon mentioned something, and it basically boils down to what are they still marching for? If I'm paraphrasing it too short, feel free to correct me, Eon. But basically, what are they still marching for in the West? Women have equality. Maybe this is how I like to recognize it, what he's saying. And then he also says, basically they are telling women to register and vote for their candidate, which kind of takes away the individuality, because now you have to vote for pussy instead of who you think the best candidate is, which are totally fair points. But funny enough, this is not the reason why I kind of liked this article. The thing why I wanted to talk about this article is because of this. Where are we? Haha, here we are. I am marking it a little bit. I personally won't wear one because if it hurts even a few people's feeling, then I don't feel like it's unifying, said Phoebe Hobbs, founder and president of Women's March Michigan and organizer of anniversary marches 21st century in Lansing and Marquette. And the double standard in this one is nearly palpable, because they don't care if it hurts anyone, but if it hurts a victim, then I mean, how do you call it? Victim ideology and the victimhood Olympics demand that they take those victims more important.
Yeah, but then you end up with the TERF versus trans arguments where they're at each other really viciously.
Yep.
Because two victim groups each think they're the worst victim.
Yeah, but not just that. I mean, how about, as I said earlier, how about the feminists that are pro-life but aren't welcome in any women's marches? Because
it's not even feminist, because it's a woman's march. It's not a feminist march.
Yeah, but the feminist movement said that pro-life feminists weren't welcome. They weren't welcome in the last big one. So
what I'm saying is it shouldn't even be feminist, because I don't know, what is it, 10-20% of American women identify as feminists?
Yeah,
how can it be a woman's march if you're only 10-20% of the demographic?
But that's the whole thing. I mean, come on. They now have a problem with the pussy hats because some people may have hurt feelings over it. But I'm telling you this. Those people that have hurt feelings over the pussy hats, they are not meaning men who feel that feminism are destroying our society. That's not the people they mean. That's not the people they worry about.
Have you heard that happening in Britain?
What?
There's been in the last couple of days, they've the PDC, because that's big in the Netherlands, darts. The PDC have announced that there will be no more walk-on girls in darts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And in Formula One, there's now going to be no more of the women in the pit lane who hold the umbrella.
Pit lane girls, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, feminism has thrown women's work jobs into the gutter. They've just eliminated that. So now, how do they tackle the wage gap if they have just said no, you can't work?
But this is the funny thing, though. You know why they started doing how do you call them? The pit girls in boxing, in sports, even in how do you call it? American football. You have those. It has a name. I can't remember. Cheerleaders. Thank you. You know why they started with that? In the beginning, and we're talking about hundreds of years ago, cheerleaders were men.
Well, American football is not that.
So why did they change from male cheerleaders? Why did they change from male cheerleaders to female cheerleaders? Because male cheerleaders are interesting for women. Female cheerleaders are interesting for men and women.
Yeah. Because
women look at women too. Yes, Alicia, really, they were men. Oh, there was an American president way back when. He used to be a cheerleader, and I want to say that this
wasn't hundreds of years ago, though, Modwain. It was about late 19th century.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, yeah. It wasn't hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, but
there were men. It was mostly men. It was, if not all men.
Mostly, yes.
No, I don't think George W. Bush was a cheerleader. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, come on! Let's not discriminate against Bushy.
Yeah. Well, and indeed, Ian, I wonder how many rat fams are protesting against the Chippendales as stereotypes. Did you know? And this is insider information. This is a public secret, I guess. Did you know that women in porn out-earn men in porn by double digits at least?
Gap.
That's a huge wage gap for men in porn.
I wonder if I honestly wonder if they actually introduced the earnings that into the whole average as well. I've slightly suspicion that they do not.
How do you mean?
They don't add that the female porn stars into the average wage, quote unquote.
Oh, they may. Well, it's very possible that they may. I mean, don't forget that if you take the average earning of all men and you take the average earning of all women,
but
you're going to take the average earning of multi-billionaires, and there are more multi-billionaires male than female. I mean, if you have 10 multi-billionaires and one of them is female and the rest of them are men, that already will prop up the average for men so immensely.
Obviously, yes.
So yeah, they have
But
that.
in the UK, they use a median figure to eliminate that influence.
Yeah, and they stopped that, and then look at it now.
Sorry?
Did they stop that, or did they still continue the mean?
No. The median. They use a median, so it's actually the middle.
Yeah. But yeah, if you take the middle of people earning from 30,000 a year to 30 billion a year.
Yeah, but because the extremes are such a tiny percentage, it gets eliminated. Noel Plum did a great video explaining the difference between the British and the American ways of calculating.
It's partly true. It's partly true, but the thing with averages, if you have one person who earns more than 99% of the people, then the average earning. Yeah, I know.
You're thinking mean. I'm talking median.
Yeah. But you create a median based on.
No. Median is based on numbers. It's not based on distribution.
Yeah, no, it is based on numbers. But you try to.
So if you have people at the end, and that person at the end is earning a million, or that person at the end is earning $1 billion, it makes no difference to the median.
No, but the thing is that the way that they set up the wage gap thingy, it is a mix between medium.
Not in the UK. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Noel Plum did a video, and he made it quite clear that how it's calculated and why that is not an issue here.
Then I don't understand how even in the UK people are still complaining how men out-earn women when we know that women out-earn men between the ages of 20 to, 35?
Because they use the American statistics.
No. Because he explained this. The way they gerrymander the figures is more women work part-time and part-time hourly wages are lower. And therefore, if you look at equivalent of full-time men against full-time women, it disappears. If you look at part-time women against part-time men, women earn more. But if you
but even if you look at full-time women, earn more in certain categories.
That's what I said. And overall, it disappears a difference. But if you take the combined figures, because there is an imbalance between full-time pay and part-time pay, it skews it in favours of men.
Well, it could be true. I have to look into that then.
As I say, Noel Plum did a great video on it, and it explains all exactly how the UK figures are calculated and how the UK figures, if you start breaking it down into smaller categories that are more like for like, suddenly a lot of the differences disappear or are reversed. And also, the BBC announced today that the female correspondents earn 24% more than their male counterparts. You won't hear much about that in the news.
Nope.
No, that's the thing. No, but that's the thing. We are being told certain things happen, and by lack of proof, they will give us narratives, and we have to believe the narratives.
Yeah, and they cherry pick which data and how they present the data and how they report the data.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting to recognize. I mean, I did do a small video about the wage gap. I think everyone's done a video about the wage gap, let's be honest. But I did do a small video on the wage gap based on the concept of why it can't be real, and if it were real, what that would mean.
Yes.
I mean, who would hire men if you can hire women for less?
Of course.
Do we see that happening? No. Okay. So that in itself can only mean two things. One, either the wage gap isn't real, or it's based on something else than paying women less than men. Or two, women actually do perform worse than men, and therefore they don't get hired. Now,
actually, there's another factor.
No, these are not factors. These are options. Either it's not true.
No. I'm saying. Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
There's another issue. Sorry. At my age, my earnings now were affected by decisions I made 40 years ago.
Yes.
When I was choosing my options at school, then I went to university, then I started to get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people older than me in the workforce. Their 40, 50-year-old decisions will only be eliminated when they leave the workforce. So you've always going to have huge lags between, they're saying, why can't we eliminate it now? Because people are being affected by decisions they made 50 years ago. We can't go back in a time machine and change those decisions.
Yeah, true that. Anyway, let's go back. Alicia, you're right. We've been off topic for quite a while. Ren, do you want to do the reading again, or shall I do?
No, sorry. I just want to say, apologise to everyone in the chat. I can't see it because my iPad can't support more than one thing at a time.
No, I try to keep track of the screen as well. So I have a multi-monitor setup here. This is really beautiful. It's I'm proud of it. I have 2 monitors. Woohoo! Okay.
So do I, Modwain.
I'm still proud of it. Fuck you.
No. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. Absolutely. Let's get back on track.
I have kids at work that have 4 monitors. So
God.
They put me to shame.
They put everyone to shame.
But anyway, let's go back to the topic. Rin, do you want to continue reading, or shall I? Or
I don't mind. Whatever you want to do, it's fine with me.
Shall we start with I care more? Well, I let alone. I care more about mobilizing people to the polls than wearing one hat one day of the year. So I assume this is the face of the founder. Let's go on then.
A white female, by the way.
Yeah, well, a white female with
middle class, upper middle
eyes.
class, blonde, white female. Just so you know.
Just so you know. How dare she speak over minorities? Go ahead, Rin.
Exactly. Go on, Rin.
The states and national organizations, she said, have tried to move away from the pussy hats for several months now and are not making the cornerstones of our messages because there's a few things wrong with the message. It doesn't sit well with a group of people that's feel that the pink pussy hats are either vulgar or they are upset that they might not include trans women or non-binary women or maybe women whose genitals are not pink.
And this I found so fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
surely
I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be sexist. Whose genitals are not pink? Well, sorry, whose female genitals are not pink?
As I said,
maybe it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because they're
no.
pussy hats as in felines, not pussy hats as in genitals.
No, but that's the thing, though.
Yeah,
it was.
At the beginning, the first year was a color of the genitals. Now,
no. But the pink was chosen for being feminine.
Yeah,
but the hats have got ears.
No. It was chosen. It was chosen to be pink pussy. Pussy fights back and that sort of crap.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the outer vulva, that can be from white to quite dark. Okay, but now open it up. God, I'm being sexualized here, but it doesn't matter. I'm being a biologist here. The inner vulva, the labia, they are pink in every human female on Earth.
And some non-humans.
Exactly, but we're just going with the humans. I won't even touch any other species. Every human female on Earth has pink labia. Doesn't matter the vulva, which is the outside part, that can be multicolored and excellent awesomeness. I am totally for. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely beautiful. But the inner vulva, the inner labia, is pink. So, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
pink
my
for
biological expertise. Oh, what the hell was that? Someone called.
Oh, I think that was Rin. Someone was on the phone. That was really loud.
That was nice. That's a nice ringtone.
Yeah, sounds like a nice stream van.
Yeah.
Hey, but at least you'll hear it.
Oh, John, are you being petty? Oh, that is
no. I mean, I live in a place where the ice cream van comes round, and that's what it sounds like.
No, I will totally believe it. Rin will come back soon. I hope she will leave now because she's going to take the call.
Yes, she will come.
She got cold.
John, I grew up with the ice cream vans, of course, man. I know those; they were awesome.
But let's go back to the thingy. Okay, so we've established real science, like we established
science. I love science.
that yes, the genitals of women are pink. The funny thing is that, as far as I know, even the genitals of trans women are pink. Because basically what I'm not really sure actually. They're creating an open wound.
God.
So if you make a false vagina, the inside would still be pink.
I've made this a lot of as a joke in one of the
purple then. Fair enough.
Exactly. In the future an archaeologist excavates a human skeleton, he can identify if they're male or female. Only that. If you want to talk about ethnicity, you'd have to do more forensic studies. But if you look at
they can see ethnicity as well. There are some strong markers, but not
that strong. Not that strong. Trust me, not that strong. It is a fallacy that they are strong. No.
Okay.
It's a fallacy that they are so strong. No, they are not. Phrenology, the skulls, the measure of skulls, etc., was debunked a long time ago with
True that. I know that.
Yeah, that's the only thing you could use to identify different groups of people on Earth. No, that is not the criteria. You would have to do a hell of a lot of forensic tests to find a ethnic group within the skeleton. But you can easily identify a male and a female by their pelvis. That is the definitive difference.
Well, you could
go on.
You can tell differences from the pelvis, but other bone structures and skull structures, I've been told, women do have a slight different build in skulls as men do.
Apart from the skulls are slightly I won't say that they're problematic. They are slightly different because the vast range of human characteristics. You can have a gracile, that means a light skeleton male.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of the chat. Alicia's asking what is the plural for penis, and
penile.
Square peg is like penile.
Penile, yeah, that is.
I thought it was penises as well.
No, it's penile. That sounds. No, I'm not distracted by the chat. Gracile. Yeah, you can have gracile males that could appear female, except for the pelvis. That is definitive.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I love science. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah,
but we see this with other we see this with other mammals as well. There is you can always tell what the male and female is based off certain things within the and usually it's because around the hips, because every mammal has hip bones. But sometimes you can see it.
Yeah, the female
Go on, mate.
mammals, because of the pelvis, they have to birth the descendants. They will always be different from the male equivalent of their species, whatever. Now, egg laying is a slightly different. You don't really need that much difference. So, for example, birds and reptiles, etc., and fish.
Sorry, I have to laugh again.
Go on, man.
Basically, Alicia is saying, okay, it's peni, but don't Google it. And then SquarePeg says a moment later, oh my God, so much peni. You shouldn't have Googled it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I love the people watching this stream. I really do love you guys. I really do. But this is by far the most interesting moment I can remember.
At least they're not cancelled like sometimes I've been in the streams. But yes, they are. They're excellent. So yeah,
no, I have a great audience. I really do.
You do. Yes, you do. Absolutely. And just concluding that, yeah, egg-laying species, their pelvis is not that different from between them. Slightly, but not as much, because an egg is constant, and you'd have to look at other aspects to identify male and female. So yeah, size, etc. Yeah. Oh God, the chat is. I love you, the chat. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, no, be as you are. I'm loving this. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue with the article. We were stopped at "it does not sit well." So, the concept of the pussy hat grew from the idea of Krista Su had when talking with her friend Jana Swyman after the 2016 presidential election. They wanted to find a way for protesters to make a strong unifying visual statement during the inaugural Women's March on Washington. And this is when they launched the Pussy Hat Project, hoping that their marching pink hats would not only hoping that their marching pink hats do not only that, but also allow activists who could not get to Washington for the big national march to show their support for women's rights in other places. Other places like, for example, Saudi Arabia?
India, Pakistan, Indonesia.
Places like that.
Yeah. Okay. How would these pussy hats actually help female genital mutilation in most African countries, for example, North African countries?
Yeah. I have a feeling that that's not what they meant, though.
But of course not, because it's easy for the women in the West. This is why most.
I have to laugh. Yeah. I thought this was. I mean, I'm looking at this image and I'm looking all white women, and I thought, oh no, wait, this is not a white woman. But then I realized this is not a woman at all. It's a mannequin.
Which one? The one
it's all white women.
Yeah, exactly.
So where's the diversity?
Upper middle class white women are starting a. Oh, I am upset that that Hillary Clinton did not win, so I'm going to make a hat that is purple with two small horns on the side and call it a pussy hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
ears. There are ears.
There is.
There is.
The cat's ears.
Right. Okay.
It's a pussy hat. I've been trying to say this. Yeah. It's a pussy hat. The cat's ears.
Yeah, cat's ears. Exactly, because it has absolutely no connection with any really oppressed women on earth. I could just go 700 kilometers south of Portugal to Morocco, and I will know that the women there have much, much more repressive regimes than Portugal has. For example, and we are not the beacon of liberty on earth.
I mean, there's plenty of other countries where women do have it bad, but somehow America needs to lead the way.
For example, This year's Women's March sort of coincided a little bit later with the Iranian protests. The women there risked they actually risked their lives. There were many deaths. I was on Twitter counting them. Every death that was reported, officially reported, my heart froze. That super brave woman that put her hijab, a scarf, on a flagpole. She was arrested. No one knew where she was. She just yesterday was released to her parents. That made me, my heart thrilled.
Yeah, but that's really scary.
She was alive. Yes, she could have been handed a body to her parents.
Yep. And this has happened in the past as well.
Exactly. This protest of pretentious, entitled,
privileged. Don't get privileged.
More than privileged brats, children. They are absolutely children. They are 4-year-old children. All of them. You can train them. They are trying to.
Yeah, but
I'll just finish this. This is important. They are basically. I saw this behavior in my own children at 4 years old. They were brats. I slowly molded them by not giving in to their brattishness. They became responsible, awesome, intelligent adults. But these, it makes me sick and angry that they are not actually, they disregard what is happening outside their most tiny little sphere of their lives. And my indignant speech has come to an end.
It is. I totally agree with you, but it is infuriating. I think infuriating is probably a good word.
I sort of did this in a little bit of a hyperbole but Jesus, I was absolutely hoping that they were safe, because that they were actually being oppressed. No woman in the West is oppressed at all. Nothing.
In the West, they're completely safe. The fact that they can still threaten to kill Donald Trump or bomb the White House without people standing up. And yes, that shit still happens.
Exactly. It makes me angry. It really does make me angry, because I know what I actually, having been born under a dictatorship and my father had to run away, I know what oppression really is. They have no idea. They have no idea. And
here's the first image of a colored woman, but then again, with the name of Krista Sue, I'd expect it to be a colored woman.
She is not colored. She is Asian. They are not colored.
That's a color too, isn't it? Everything is a color except white, apparently.
Exactly. Yeah. In physics, by the way, the lack of color is black. Just so you
yeah.
No,
never mind that.
Never mind that, and it's not racist because it's physics.
Yeah, and the white people are rainbow.
Does not have black in it. The rainbow flag does not have black in it.
No, I'm saying, but white people are the rainbow, because white is the combination of all the colours.
True that.
Yes.
But didn't they try to? Oh, I have to look this up. I think they.
There was a university
that introduced the rainbow flag with brown and black on it, right?
Yeah, but that's the rainbow in nature does not have those colors. So
of course not.
And it was also missing the point of the original rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea of the original rainbow flag was that it's beyond ethnicity. It's purely
and it was
about
everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is
Just once.
Come on, can I see you? Come on.
Yes. Square
There,
peg,
I'm going to put this
yeah.
in front. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, so that people can see it nicely. Come on.
Exactly. Apart from the Kangs and we was,
Yeah.
all the others were showing the whole diversity.
Yeah, because none of them are about race.
There are no human races. I don't give
No,
a
I meant
crap.
that, in their language.
Yeah.
None of the other colours is to do with that race
No.
identity.
But they try to make it about race. Everything within the whole identitarian bullshit stories has to be about race, because if it's not about race, how can you feel sorry for them? But I'm not feeling sorry for anyone.
What do I not
I
feel
just got to
sorry
tell
for
you.
someone?
Sorry, can I just? I just got to tell you. I posted today on Twitter, and I said something about people who are racist and sexist and heterophobic, and they hide behind equality. And someone replied, and the first words were, "You're a white man." And I said, "Lol, way to prove me wrong."
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. I mean, I made a video not too long ago. You saw it. Me responding to Joyner Lucas. Now, I made that video because a colleague of mine gave that to me, like, "Oh, look at this. This is brilliant, blah, blah, blah." So I said, okay, I'll look at it. I'll make a response. Yesterday or the day before, I showed it to him at work, and we started talking. And at the very beginning, I have an image of black man and nigger. And he's a black man. So he feels that it's offensive because, well, they're all black men. Yeah, but there's a difference between black man and nigger. No, there's not. Yeah, but if I ask you which one of these four people will be there for his kids, who do you think is most likely not there for their kids?
Modwain, find that Chris Rock sketch.
Oh yeah,
he
talks about
it.
Yeah. I actually talked about that as well. But for the longest time, he didn't want to admit. It's not that he didn't agree, but he didn't want to admit it. And that's the whole thing with identity politics. Alicia Clegg, in this channel, you're allowed to say nigger. Don't worry. No, anyway, but this is the whole thing with the identity politics. I'm sorry, but if everything is being brought back to an identity, then we're never going to be equal. Because you are allowed to do certain things, but I am not. Now, if I'm not allowed to do that, then either I'm your subject because you're higher than me, or I'm not allowed it because I'm higher than you, and this is the one thing that you still have. In either case, we're not talking about equality. Well,
ultimately, identity politics will fragment so much that it'll come down to the individual.
And this is what we've been seeing with this identity pussy hat thingy. The original hat has these adorable cat ears. See, cat ears. You're right.
Yeah.
So pussy hat is also a play on pussycat. The word pussy is often blah 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 blah. You know, I'm not even really interested in. Pussy is a very charged word, but why is pussy a charged word?
I don't see why it's a charged word.
Because it's American slang, and that's the problem. As always, the American slang gets predominance.
Well, it's slang in England as well.
It's in French. The female genital organs is also called the shat, which means the cat, the pussy.
And in Dutch, it's also called poes,
so
which means pussy.
It's not American. It's
we have this
in other English. It is because when I was growing up, we never heard it. It was a fanny. Which in American means the backside, but in Britain it means the front side.
In Britishness, yes. Same
Yeah,
with
but-
me as
But
Australian.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Jones is English, right?
Yeah, it's Welsh.
Yes.
Welsh.
Don't offend the Welsh.
Close
He's
enough.
British.
Fair enough. He's British.
He is
But I
British,
mean,
yeah.
the whole pussycat thing, he didn't make it up. He made a song about it, but it wasn't his word. And everyone knew what was meant with a pussycat,
A
which
female.
was a sexualized female.
No, just a female, basically, yeah.
No, a sexualized female.
Oh,
A
I
pussycat
didn't
is a
realize that.
sexualized female.
I didn't realize that, and I've just learned something. Thank you, man.
Hmm.
You mean like
Honestly.
Pussy Galore in James Bond? That was Goldfinger.
And there you go. It's all
Yeah,
about
but-
the
but I- but I-
sexualization of females.
But I knew that as the American version, not as the British version.
It is. It's very much British.
No, actually,
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't
Like-
used
like-
in that way, though, Modwin.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
it
what I
was.
mean. It wasn't. No, in,
was.
No,
in,
it was
in the-
because you can,
Modwin, I'm talking as someone who was actually there.
yeah, I understand
wasn't.
that. But
and
when
I
you
also
listen,
grew up.
a lot of the music from that era, it constantly comes back.
Mostly from the American, and Tom Jones was trying to get into the American. Well, he was already in there when he released What's New Pussycat, and that was his biggest break in America, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, it was also a big hit in England or in
Yeah,
Europe.
Yeah,
But in England,
but-
it didn't have to be about the
Exactly, yeah.
sexualization. It was just a song.
The song was awesome in itself, not by the words, but the Americans took it as a slightly different, more sexualized version. The British, the Australians, me included as a British Australian citizen, and not citizen, but growing up in, I did not take it as a sexualized thing, as much sexualized as in America.
No,
We had Fanny.
if I go back into the music of the 70s, but okay, maybe I'm wrong on this one. I'm going to I'm going to stand down.
You were never wrong. It's just slightly different variations of the same thing. Doesn't have to be wrong.
Oh my God, are they now? Girls, keep it nice in the chat. For fuck's sake,
God.
bald-headed yogurt slinger. They're talking about nicknames for penises.
They forgot the one-eyed trouser snake, or the
one-eyed trouser snake, I know, but the
Yeah,
bald-headed yogurt slinger.
No. The ultimate description of the male organ is the pus-spitting one-eyed trouser snake.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I always like the one-armed bandit,
Yes.
which is also a slot machine, I know, but
They are awesome. They are tops. They are.
we feel left out.
superb.
let's
You know-
continue.
You know something's important in a culture when there's so many words for it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
100% correct on that
And
one.
I have to go, guys. So, yeah.
That's
Right.
good, guys, really. Well, see you later,
Right.
then, Carlos. Thank you for coming.
Take care.
Not 5. I said 5 more minutes. I'm not going now.
All right. Okay. Well, we've got
Oh,
time
God.
then.
Let's read a bit more.
Okay. So where were we? I think we were here, right? The hats were so popular in the run-up to 2017 March. That was pink yarn. There was a run on pink yarn in Michigan. Shops couldn't keep it on their shelves. I like it, by the way, that they consider that pink is the color for women. I know I've said this many a time, but pink wasn't the color for women. Feminists
Quite.
made pink
No.
the color for women.
Well, Eleanor Roosevelt, wasn't it, who popularized pink for girls?
No. Before that,
No?
it already had happened.
Okay.
Pink was the color for boys. Red was the color for men. Pink was the color for boys. Dark blue or full blue was the color for women, and light blue was the color for girls. And this goes back all the way to the Middle Ages.
Yep. I can back that up. Yep.
It's kind of funny because it's the same like trousers. Trousers are for men and dresses are for women. Yeah, no. Again, it depends on what time frame you are in, because children always wore dresses up to I think the 19th or 18th century. Boys would wear dresses as well.
I wore dresses until I was 3 years old. So there you go.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, piece of trivia for you. Wellington, the man who beat Napoleon at Waterloo,
Yeah, the boot guy.
later became Prime Minister of Britain.
mm-hmm. I know that.
When he was Prime Minister of Britain, he was refused entry to a club because he was wearing trousers and not breeches and knee socks.
There you have it.
Earrings until the late 19th century were worn exclusively only by men.
Yeah, because it was a way to move your wealth about.
And also was associated with the sailors, those dregs of human species.
Yes.
That go to in port by port and ravish the local feminists.
Talking about sailors, we're sidetracking terribly. Talking about sailors. Now, the English and the Dutch had several wars on the sea. And do you know which country supplied the most of the mariners? Or the sailors, or the... How do you want to call them? Most soldiers on the sea in the fight between England and the Netherlands were Dutch.
German?
No, they were Dutch. Dutch fought on both sides of the war because they got paid for it.
Yeah.
Because in those days you didn't have national armies like we have now.
No,
lots of
especially the British.
Well, most countries didn't have national armies. I think, the Romans sort of did, but then for the longest time it came out of fashion, and I think the French started it again with Napoleon.
And also the British by then had national armies. Queen Elizabeth, even King George.
No, but we didn't have standing armies.
They didn't have national armies though.
They had standing armies. We had to recruit them every time we went to war.
Yeah, and because of that, you had lots of mercenaries, which
like
I mean,
in the
this is not
colonies.
true.
Sorry, America.
Yeah, but this is not only true for for Great Britain. This is true for most countries. I think France was the first to create their own armies, and it wasn't even Napoleon. Even though Napoleon gets credited for that, it was just before him.
I don't know history, so I don't know history and enough of history, so I won't put in my. Because I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to the pussy hats.
Yeah. Let's get back to the pussy hat. Knitters make the hats by the dozen, selling pussy hats online and donating proceeds to Planned Parenthood. Because nothing says I stand with women than killing children.
Killing female children.
Sorry, unborn children, male or female.
Yeah, unborn female children. I'm just going to say...
That's what feminism stands for. But this is kind of funny because this is one of the reasons why the pro-life feminists weren't welcome at the Women March.
Yeah, because they were actually saying, look, you're killing unborn female children. What the fuck you guys are doing? No, you're not welcome here. Fuck off.
But since then, the idea has begun to sour among some feminists. LaShawn Irby. How come these are always called LaShawn? Anyway, co-chair of Black Lives Matter declined to talk about... Sorry?
Black Lives Matter, Lansing. That's actually a city.
No, I just said Black Lives Matter. That's all I need to know about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Declined to talk about her views on pussy hats because the topic is a cornerstone of the speech she plans to give at the march in Lansing. I will say this one thing. It is a problem. Which is the second most powerful word these identitarians can use. The first obviously being problematic.
Everything is a problem. Everything is problematic. Everything is etc. 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 And on that, I bid you all farewell. I have to really go to bed because tomorrow I got to work. And
I wish you a good
yes.
night's sleep, mate. I'm free tomorrow. So I have time.
And me too. Good night.
Well, you guys make me proud. And,
thank you for coming again, mate.
Rin, please come on and let someone. If Rin doesn't come on, she should come on. She was.
I hope she's coming back.
Yeah, because
I don't know what the talk is about, but yeah, she had to go and take the call, and she didn't come back.
I have nothing serious. I really love Rin. She's a sweetie. So
yeah, she is.
Good night. Yeah, good night, everyone, and good night, chat. I love you all.
Sleep well, Carlos.
See you guys.
Well, considering then that there's only you and me, John, shall we invite someone else, or shall we invite the streamers, the chatters, to join us as well?
Well, I can't see the stream. This is the problem.
It's mostly Square Peg and Alicia talking, and every once in a while Eon drops in something. So, guys, you want to join in? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel a bit weird. 2 European men talking about an American woman's march.
Yes. It's problematic, mate. It really is.
No, not problematic. It's just weird.
You know what? I'm going to let you guys join in if you want to, and I'm going to do something that I know I really shouldn't, but fuck it. There you go. Hangout link is in the chat. If you want to join, by all means, feel free. It's cockheads. Hi there, Nick. No, Nick's radio just came in the chat, and basically he said pussyheads. No, it's cockheads. Which is kind of true, because if you put it on you, you make your face or you make your head like a huge bell end. Well, it's true though, isn't it? I mean, don't you think that those pussy hats kind of make you look like a bell end?
No, I think being on the march does that.
That's probably true as well.
I mean, if they took that energy and put it into actually doing something, they'd probably get a lot done.
That's the thing. They don't want to get anything done.
Yeah, and that's my point. You know, they want to be seen to do something, not to actually do something.
No, because if you have to actually do something, that takes work, and work is tiring.
Yeah, but they can knit.
Oh, yeah. And then they can sell it for way too much money, and then they can give that money to Planned Parenthood, which in America at this point in time is the biggest contributor to the the transgender problem, because they're actually paying for gene therapy for children who don't want to be girls, don't want to be boys anymore, which is kind of one of the problems why they can't use the pussy hat anymore, because, hey, transgenders don't have pussies. So the transgender hat paid for the group that is against the pussy hat. That's how you want to see it. We were here. You know, nobody can speak for your experience but you. Because
unless you're a white male, then you've got to shut up.
Yeah. And somehow experiences are way more important than reality. Because if I experience something bad, then 10,000 other people can't talk against me because I experienced something bad and they didn't experience that something bad. Now, I've been working in psychology for the longest time, psychiatry actually. And the first thing that we always teach our kids, at some point in time, you have to stop bitching and moaning about how you did not get that little red bike when you were 5 years old. I hope that makes sense. It made sense to me, and it makes sense to a lot of my... Yeah. But they keep bitching. They keep complaining. No, my life has been bad. Why have your life been bad? Well, because my great-great-grandmother... I'm sorry, but that's not your life.
It's how they frame issues. For example, they'll go, yeah, men are terrible because after they buy you dinner, they expect sex. So why are you letting them buy you dinner? Why aren't you offering to buy dinner? But they don't question their automatic right to receive free stuff.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so I can find Alicia's Gmail so I can send her a personal invite. I'm really good at this stuff. No, I'm not. Oh, for fuck's sake. I just clean my inboxes. I don't have to look for it.
There's nothing important.
No, there wasn't. And if there was, it's gone now. I don't care. I try to not stand still for too long. Hey, Alicia. There you are. Okay, now I have to see where... Damn it, Alicia, where's your Gmail? Because I can't find it. And I have you on Minds,
Can't you
don't...
just type it? Can't you just type it in your Gmail and it come up?
No, because she can't use the Google Hangout thingy. Well, if you want to... Do you have... wait a second. I'm going to try this. There you go. Go on. I sent you a Gmail invite, Alicia. And Square Peg, we would love to have you in here as well. We do. The two of you are having fun already, so you might as well join. Please. Nah. Listen, if you want to come, you're more than welcome. If you don't want to come, that's okay too. Where was I going to go with this? This is where I was going to go with this. That has to go back. Alicia, I sent you the Gmail thing. I sent you an invite over Gmail, as far as I know. Well, click the link. If you have a microphone, then you can talk. That's basically it, really. Oh, yeah, and you kind of want to turn off your camera so that you won't dox yourself. Unless, of course, you don't mind showing your face.
I was going to say, she always does on her videos.
Yay, I'm on.
Yay!
Welcome, Alicia.
Nice to see you again.
Okay, a Square Peg. If you want, you can send me your Gmail, and I can send you a personalized invite. And I'll send. You can send
Alicia, I'm sorry because it's
sorry.
Because it's evening here, so we're drinking.
If you send me an email at modwain@gmail, I can send you a personalized invite. Square, you're more than welcome to join. Alicia, you're not on Twitter, are you?
I'm on the Twitter. But I just don't tweet. I tweet.
Are you on Twitter?
I tweet.
Do I have you on the Twitter?
I hate the Twitter, but I don't think you do. I'll find you. I'll hunt you down and stalk you.
I'm easy to find. If it's Modwain, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found it.
Yeah.
But
It's not hard.
Modwain, I don't know if you're being shadow banned, but I never see your tweets, Modwain.
That's because I hardly ever tweet. I send personal messages.
Sure.
That would
do it.
Should I take over the conversation and we can talk about penis hats now?
But that's what I said. Those things make you look like a bellend.
Hey,
To me,
start
they make you
a
look like a
new
balance.
business. You can make lots of money.
Who's going to wear a cock hat?
Hey, there are lots of cocked guys out there.
Just
Hey, listen, CNN is actually promoting it.
Ew, so gross.
They are. It is.
So gross. I don't like the whole pussy hat things in the first place because it's kind of, I think it's degrading to women.
Yeah, but they're all saying they're cat ladies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why they did it in the first place. I mean, that's like, I don't know. It's just gross to me. But I'm a prude from Utah, so what can be expected?
But I mean, what do you even think of a gendered march anyway? I think it's so divisive.
I think so. Oh yeah. The only reason to have a non-gendered march, right, would be like for something very, very specific, like, you know, you're marching to raise awareness of male suicide, or you're marching to raise awareness of genital mutilation, that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I think it's bullshit.
But they wouldn't do that in either case.
I'm sorry, guys. I need to go AFK real fast. I'll be right back.
All right.
Square Peg, send me a thingy. Or you know what? I'm going to try this one more time. If you guys want to join in, by all means do. Hoppa. And I'll be right back. I'm
my
sorry,
avatar in a cock hat in my latest video. Did you really? Nick, do I follow you? Square Peg, do I follow you? What are your handles on YouTube? Everybody share your handles for YouTube so I can follow you. I need more followers.
No, Alicia, you know in the chat?
Yeah.
Just tap on his click his icon.
Okay.
And that takes you to his channel.
No, it's not doing it for me. No, it's not. Well, you know what I can do? Don't know. Nick's Radio is on my YouTube channel. That's what I can do. I'm like double logged in on YouTube right now, trying to figure this all out. Oh, what did I do? I just screwed myself. You are following me, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna double check on all of them because I'm kind of bored with a lot of the bigger YouTubers right now. Is anyone else bored with some of the bigger YouTubers? Because it seems like they've reached some kind of stalemate. YouTube changed the focus. Yeah, I haven't even watched. I'm writing down everybody right now so that I don't ruin it. Because I love following. And you know what I found is my favorite now is I like the smaller channels because it's like they try harder.
And you interact.
Yeah, exactly. So like I would like to see Ludicrous Leprechaun make more videos because I like
I've been encouraging him for since he started, because I knew him when he actually started. Technically. And
did you get? Yeah.
He's a friend. We talk.
Yeah. I mean, I never get tired of bearing, though. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't ever get tired of bearing. There's a long list of
apart from that Christy Winters crap, you know, and all the team and. You know, like the drama.
Yeah, I like the drama. I like when YouTubers are fighting, but I think I'm gonna say it. I think that's a female trait of gossiping I have, and I really love gossip, and I really like it, and I enjoy it. And I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person, but I do. I actually like the drama part.
I don't judge. It's just not interesting to me when nothing is being said. They're just slagging each other off.
Yeah, like when they're just being dicks.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. Oh, for goodness sake. What? There's no argument. There's nothing of interest here.
Well, I like Barry too.
I just think he's entertaining.
Yeah.
I like the cartoons.
I tried talking with Christiosity. If one of you has gone through my long list of videos, you will see that I did a hangout with Christiosity. So I tried to get people from that group to engage, but Yeah, that was somewhat a waste of time.
Yeah. I'm going to check what my handle is. My Twitter account is so old.
I just linked it in our chat. So if
I
that's the
know.
one.
I know, but if I'm afraid to click on it because I don't know. Like, does it have a picture of me with no makeup? Because that's me. I don't have makeup on in my Twitter account. It's so old.
It's an old image. That's for sure.
Okay.
And I think the banner is a few books.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Investigate My Sins and
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
in Chaos.
Yeah. Everybody
Definitely.
forgets that I've written 6 novels, but it's okay. It's okay.
In all fairness, I did
just kidding.
I did not know that, Alicia. I really did not know that.
It's all right.
But I am somewhat envious of you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
For writing fiction novels?
I used to write fiction as well, and poetry. Mostly short stories though, because I just couldn't get a full story going. I couldn't keep interested. Probably.
Well, it sucks for me right now because I can't write because I can't get into the flow because I'm watching Drusilla, And in order for me to get in the flow, I need to isolate myself for hours on end. And so I have 3 books that I'm halfway through writing, and my fans that actually are my fan for my writing, they're upset with me because, I like to write about dark stuff, but I can't write unless I'm in a flow. So it's going to be another year before I can write another book, and it kills me a little on the inside. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm also chewing a little bit, but yeah. No,
That's okay.
I haven't read any of your stuff, so I'm not going to say that I like it or anything like that because that's just
No,
I haven't read it.
No, it's okay. I don't.
You know how it goes. Once people like, oh no, she's a writer. Oh yeah, her stuff is great. Have you read it? Yeah, her stuff is great, but have you read it? I'm not going to be that guy.
I would no people. I'm more very very select group of people like my type of writing. Very small select groups.
I don't know. But yeah, no, there is that.
Yeah, it's just my very first review that I ever got. This lady lambasted me because she said that I was evil and that I was against God and I had capitalized the devil because it was in a proper noun context. Of course, I'm going to capitalize it. It's all right. Let's talk about these penis hats.
Penis hats. No, we can't because we're still not square peg. Come on, you have to join.
I know. We got to get it all.
Just remember, Alicia. Just remember, Alicia, I haven't seen any of the chat, so I don't know what you're talking about.
We were talking about. Well, it started off quite innocently, and we got sidetracked by talking about penises. And then I didn't know how to make plural penis. And then I Googled penis, and that was a mistake. And then we kind of went off on that because we were like, oh my God. So.
No, sorry. Fucking sucks. I hate Gmail. I really hate Gmail. Oh.
Do the Google Hangouts invitation.
Yeah, I'm doing that, but I have to have her email for that. So now I sent you the Gmail invitation, Square Peg.
Yeah, I give out all of my information. Nobody can dox me because I'm so free. Because I already doxed myself a long time ago. It's funny, people used to ask me why I didn't care, but I was like, I've had real life stalkers in real life. These online stalkers, they're nothing. They're nothing compared to real life stalkers.
I would agree with you if it weren't for the small fact that in Europe people have lost their jobs because of the things I say.
Well, yeah, you see, I am in a bubble. So everything that I say online is congruent with the culture to which I am embedded in. If a feminist were to call, say, pretend for a second I was actually working, to call my work and say what they said about any of the other people that you've heard of losing their job, the person on the phone would laugh at them and think, is this a joke? Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not something. Yeah, I am the undoxable Molly Brown, but I am privileged to live inside my Utah bubble.
Yeah, the thing is that in the UK there was I forgot his name, a professor who won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. I could Google it, but I can't be asked now. He lost his job because a feminist lied about a joke he is supposed to have made. And this cost him his job. I actually criticize feminists. I don't have a Nobel Prize. What fucking chance do I have?
Yeah, and in the UK, you couldn't go to jail for that kind of shit now.
Yeah. So there's something seriously wrong in the lands of Denmark, so to speak. And this is it. And this might sound unfair, and in a way it is. Alicia, you're a woman. So if someone starts to harass you, people will come to your defense.
Of course they will. Duh, I'm a woman.
You're a nice woman and all that, but people won't come to the defense to John or me.
You know what? You know what's funny is I'm going to tell you, because I don't ever talk about my husband because I like to leave him out of everything. But he was saying that the other day because I like to mow the lawn, and he was mentioning that whenever I mow the lawn, the neighbors, they get mad at him like he's not doing his job. And like we had to get our roof replaced, and so my husband works a lot of hours. He's a workaholic. It's his thing. That's why I love him so much, because he is a great provider. But so I had to find the roofers, and some of these men, like when Steve came home, they would treat Steve like he was some kind of pariah, like he was not a man because his woman was like getting these bids and stuff. It was really weird. Yeah. It was really weird.
Is it like that in the Netherlands? Is it like that in the Netherlands? Because that is so alien to me.
Oh yeah, that's happening here as well.
Because that's alien to me, and then I think, well, I can understand feminism having a problem with the culture if that's what the culture's like.
Did you check, Modwain? Did you check on Square Peg? It says that she's.
Yeah, I just asked. Oh, damn it, typo. Use Chrome.
Yeah, you have to use Chrome. That's what I had to do. I had to log out of Firefox and log into Chrome to get on. It really sucks. But yeah, no, it's really different because the double standards that everybody has. But I tell you what, there is something in Utah that would get you fired. If you were a female, your husband and you would get fired if you say that you want women to hold the priesthood in the Mormon church. That'll get you fired.
Well, obviously. Religion is so funny, though.
Well, it's like tribalism. I don't think we've ever outgrown kingships. In all reality, it seems like we're all still in this little box that we find some twat that's gonna rule over us, and that's the way it is.
But I've argued this about America because you have this obsession over there about princesses, all these Disney princesses, and it's like, but you're a republic, you got rid of that shit. What do you want it back for?
It's the dresses. It has everything to do with the dresses.
But it's all privilege as well. It's all privilege as well.
Yeah, that actually is privilege. But I don't know, like some of those prince and princesses, I mean, what real privilege do they have? Like, if you examine on a personal level how shitty their lives truly are. I mean, they have no say in what they do outside of partying. So, like, when they're in their own little party bubble, it seems like okay.
Now that's true, but it didn't used to be. You know, way at the time of the American Revolution, the king was George III. In the court of George III, the only chairs were him and his wife, the king and queen. All the courtiers had to stand, including, you know, and there were cases of pregnant women who would collapse under the heat because they wore all these layers of clothes and it'd be hot. And that was like, yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly normal.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
But that's
how are we doing with square pegs so we can talk about this egregious pussy hat debacle?
She was trying again, so I have no idea.
Maybe it's just a delay. I'm just typing USA in the the live chat because USA, man. We ain't ever going back to England. Oh, hell no.
Well,
no offense,
but the thing is though, but it's like all the communism in America.
Yeah. America is now the biggest communistic country in the world, by the way.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, I'm talking about all the kids wanting it. All the kids wanting it.
Yeah, there you have it.
No, stop. That's what they're saying. It's not true though. It's kind of like that's like believing that just because 20% of the screaming banshees are the loudest that represents all women. It just happens to be that.
I'm not saying they're all communists. I'm saying this resurgence of communism is like the monarchy.
Yeah.
And what it is because they've never known it.
And this is why America...
Things you don't know can be a lot more attractive than things you have personal experience of.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what's really scary is if you go to certain states, some certain areas, there are not like obviously not actual Nazis, but we're talking as close to being a Nazi as possible, where they have taken over small towns incrementally. And so in the United States right now, what you're seeing is that small towns one by one are being taken over, and a little commie fucking pinko tried to take over Layton, but it didn't happen because I told everyone, I said, look at how he is talking. He's a commie. We don't need him to take over our town.
But that's the thing, and this is what polarization is all about. And this is why I'm so scared with the rise of Antifa at the moment. Because what people seem to keep forgetting is that Antifa is the resurgence of the Bolshevik movement before the First World War. Antifa is why fascism got started. Because there were the Bolsheviks in Italy, they were fighting people, they were fighting villages, and the government didn't do much. And therefore the people started organizing themselves and they started fighting back. This is how fascism got started in Italy. This is how Hitler started with his Nazi movement in Weimar Republic, Germany. And this is what we're seeing.
Modwain, that's not quite an accurate historical reflection.
Then please enlighten me.
Well, before you enlighten us on the actual Modwain, I think that what you're speaking right there is truth to what is happening right now, and it's terrifying.
This is happening in Berkeley.
Everybody fucking hates California. No offense if anyone from California is watching. We love you. Anyway, California is like this weird anomaly. And if you were to look at the United States from inside the United States, like Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, all of those groups, they're ready to just basically take on the outer flanks that are causing all of the problems, the outer flanks of like California, Oregon, and Washington. And then also you have your New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and all of that. But it looks like there's going to be a civil war eventually. Yeah.
I hope
Sorry.
not.
I hope not. It'll be nasty.
Well, of course it'll be nasty. Of course it'll be nasty. But if you pay attention to the smaller groups that are preparing right now, you start to feel that there is this something coming. Something wicked this way comes.
And this is what we saw in Italy at the start of fascism, and this is what we saw in Germany at the start of the Nazi movement. And don't get me wrong, most Germans weren't Nazis. Most Italians weren't fascists. But it turned out to become a clash between the Bolsheviks and the non-Bolsheviks.
It's going to be bigger. It'll be bigger than that. This time it'll be bigger. I'm telling you. Like you have. So if you is anyone a prepper on here? Anyone a prepper? Anyone?
In the Netherlands, it used to be a prepper.
Okay, so
What's
in the
one
United
of
States, a
I don't know
prepper.
what one is. Sorry. Yeah.
So preppers basically are planning for the apocalypse, right?
Oh,
so,
right. Okay.
Yeah, so they store ammunition, store food, hidden places, all sorts of things, and a lot of the preppers have training camps, and so inside the prepper, like a survivalist, inside the prepper community, we already have a division and there's already, it's almost like a mini war inside of a big war.
Schism, you mean?
But everybody agrees that there is going to be a problem, but it won't be the alt-right that wins, and it will not be the progressives that win either. I'm afraid it's going to be the religious.
The only thing I can say is this: the people who win the war are the ones with the money and the industry. And in a high-tech war, you ought to be afraid of the progressives because they got so much money and so much technology.
Yeah, but you, and that would be true, but you have to understand that the preppers in the United States, they do have that technology. They don't have necessarily the money, but they already have the supplies.
I'm talking about drones. I'm talking about
drones. We have drones. We have all sorts of cannon fodder. There is a place in a desert somewhere that has underground bunkers already. I mean, it's already, all the preparation is already there. And
can I just give you a word of warning from history? That's exactly what happened before World War One.
Yep.
I'm just telling you that they got prepared. It was because of what Obama and his administration were trying to do. You have to understand that Obama was trying to do certain things that preppers are against. And so they had already prepared for this big war because they weren't going down without a fight. We're not going to be rounded up and put onto these cattle wagons or whatever you want to call them. We're talking, granted, you guys are on the other side of the pond, and so our cultures are totally different, and some of these preppers scare the living shit out of me. They scare the living shit out of me.
Sorry, all I was trying to say is that when two sides or three sides, four sides sometimes prepare an arm, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, but they didn't strike. They didn't have to strike because Trump got into office, so it set a lot of people at ease.
Yeah, and then the other side go batshit.
Yeah, the other side is going bad shit. I did a video on the redneck revolt. Those little fuckers, they're starting to get ammunitions and shit like that. So preppers are having meetings about them.
And this is what we saw in Italy before fascism, and this is what we saw in Germany during the Weimar Republic. And they are not the only two groups, but in fascism became the biggest group, and Bolsheviks were the enemy. Antifa was created to fight fascism, but Antifa does not recognize they created fascism. Because before the Bolsheviks, there was no fascist movement in Italy. And this is what we see now. I mean, Antifa, and okay, this is California, fair enough. But what we see there is that the government is letting Antifa do whatever they want, and people are self-organizing again. And this is a scary thing, because this is how civil wars get started. And whether it's the preppers or not, that's not the main issue. The main issue is that this is how civil wars get started.
Well, you do see how much violence there is in the United States, right? You do see that our numbers are extremely high all the time, right? We are controlled by all these little factions of gangs. Oh, Square's on.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Hello. You do see that our numbers are extremely high all the time, right? We are controlled by all these little factions.
Sorry.
I have no idea what's going on.
Everyone's talking at once.
No, it was the playback from her computer. We are controlled by see.
She got to turn the speakers off.
Sorry.
Yeah, use a headset if you can.
No, I totally see what you're saying, Alicia. I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying is that America, it feels like it's different than as we're ravaged by gang violence. And now I've been watching that Australia is starting to have some gang violence, and they're acting like it's the end of the world. And it's like something that we see all the fucking time in America.
Yeah,
it's like
Sweden.
Yes. And Sweden is also storming towards a civil war. They're actually
they're having all these
talking about deploying the army in their cities. So there's that.
I'm just saying nobody in America is stupid enough to start the war, though, because we know how fucking bloody it would be. I mean, the preppers already know who they have to take out in their own damn neighborhood just to survive for a couple of days. I mean, it's just it's scary and sickening.
The problem is like the whole MAD principle with the nuclear weapons was no one's going to survive. But the minute you think you can do a surgical strike to win, if you strike first, that's when it's dangerous.
Yep. But this is also really...
I wish you hadn't said that, because now I'm really fucking scared.
No, I mean, seriously.
But this is also why I'm really scared. One second, John. This is why I'm also really scared about Antifa and the communist movement, because they feel that they are untouchable because the government is protecting them.
Yeah,
and
did you see it?
You
saw that redneck leader guy. He confessed to chasing that guy that killed that girl in Charlottesville, and he hasn't been arrested.
No, and he won't be. Not fast. Because
Hillary Clinton?
Well, that's a different story.
I'm just saying, it's like there's so many of them, and they get away with it all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I heard there was a lawsuit against us. One of these many cases where the police were actually told to stand down, so they did nothing.
Berkeley.
And somebody's taking one of them to court for doing nothing.
That's in Berkeley, and that's in Charlottesville, by the way.
And that will change things if they win, because then the councils will realise they can't do it. They can't just order the police to stand there and do nothing.
Yeah, they can. It was already settled in it went all the way. I think it actually went to the top of the echelon that cops do not have to put themselves in harm's way to protect the population.
Yeah, a few years ago, police officers are there to enforce the law and not to protect the security of the populace.
Yeah.
Which is a bizarre way of saying it.
Oh, but yeah.
Because if a person is being attacked, that's breaking the law, and therefore you intervene to stop someone breaking the law. So
not if that puts you at risk. So, for example, if you see two gangs fighting with each other, you wait it out, and then you step in.
Yeah, basically. All right.
Which is beyond stupid, but yeah. This is the standing order, more or less.
What do you think, Square?
Am I finally on?
Yes.
Man, what a pain. I don't know. You know, if you're in the middle of a riot, people are getting hurt, you got to do something. Gas them all.
But they have the training, they have the equipment, they have, means to keep factions apart.
I don't like the fact that the cops in Berkeley were told to stand down.
Yeah,
I think that's terrible.
That's my point. It's the instruction that's the problem. And it's the instruction it's not whether a police group or, whatever they're called, assess a situation, say, no, it's not safe. Fine. But to be told in advance you will not intervene.
Alicia, in our part of the world, would that ever happen? Or would there just be a beat down in the streets?
I think that if Berkeley, on my opinion, honest, if Berkeley had happened in any other state, the police would have been very happy because they would have gotten a lot of aggression out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There would have been a beat down.
But Charlottesville, they were told to stand down.
Well, okay. So,
that's
okay. So I think what we have to do is you really have to separate out the country, because so anything on the coastal lines, basically, they are different than all of us in the middle. Yes. All of us in the middle are the normal ones, unless, of course, in case there's, but I think it's because the East Coast is older, right? Older. Mm-hmm. And so I think they have old prejudices and old ways of doing things. Whereas when you move past the Mississippi River, you're starting to go into territory where, it was the Wild West. And so it's a different kind of, I don't know, the way that we were all raised is differently. But then California is an outlier because California was developed by the Hollywood types. So it's basically like, it's almost like, old. It's almost like two different countries, really. Wouldn't you say, Square?
Oh, absolutely. They have no clue what it's like. Well, just an example, when we had friends come in from the East Coast, they were scared of us. I have to be honest. They kind of thought that we were the odd ones out.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. And they think less of us.
Oh, yes.
They really do. They think less of us. We're backwards, even though we speak well. We speak better than most of them. I mean, that's why a lot of your jobs end up going into the more centralized area, because we speak slower. We're not all about Now. So yeah, they are a little bit scared of us.
Yeah, they see us as uneducated.
Yeah.
Very uneducated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ironic, really.
Because we're more educated. As far as like
because
good
their
education
makes them more stupid.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I don't think so. All I can hear is crunching, crunch.
That's me.
Yeah, Modwain's hungry.
I'm doing a little bit of snacking. Sorry.
You're okay.
Dinner. He comes home late from work.
All right, I'm gonna be right back. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Talk about the pussy hats.
I'm going to share something else because let's bring it back to the pussy hats. Why not? Let's see. There is this one, and then there's that one, and then there is me sharing this. Haha. Think. Hey, Gunny. Long time no see, mate. So what do you say, guys?
Parade around in stupid costumes.
Sorry, it's every time there's a noise from Alicia, the display goes.
Oh, that's okay. I can. How do I do this? Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Alicia. But okay, now there is no sound from Alicia. So, share, think. What do you guys think? How funny is this? Huh?
Oh, it's so cringy.
It is though. This one is actually dressed like a bellend. I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I saw that picture already, yeah.
So this dude is dressed like a pussy? I think it's a dude.
That's a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
No, the dude's the one on the left with the beard.
Yep.
Well, that one, yeah, definitely. But apparently a drag queen's place is on the streets. I prefer to sleep at home, but there you have it.
Says it all.
I always feel like at the women's march that they just had, they had so many people all dressed up, vagina hats everywhere and the costumes. I always feel like if a guy did that you'd have a problem.
Oh yeah. They'd have a problem with any man doing any of the things they do. They'd have a problem with the man's march.
Unless it's this man.
No. If you called it a man's march.
They'd
have a problem.
Oh, it would never happen. It would never happen.
It's kind of funny because a few years ago...
They'd shut it down, they would protest.
No, a few years ago there was this... welcome back, Alicia. I put you on mute, but you can put yourself back to speaking again by clicking on the microphone thingy in the top of your Hangout screen. Did you find it, or do I need to do it myself? Just nod or... Okay, there you go. Well done.
Sorry, did I not mute myself again?
That's okay.
It's just every time you moved, the display went to you leaving your room.
That's okay. It's okay. No, but the thing is, a few years ago, there was this whole hubbub about... Well, there is, of course, the International Women's Day, which a lot of people seem to have forgotten is a communist thing, but never mind that. And then they were like, yeah, but why do we do this? We don't care, and there is no man's day, and blah, blah, blah. Well, men rights activists were complaining about how it's about inequality. But there is a man's day. Yeah. Do you know when?
November 19th.
Yes. Well, I'm surprised. I wouldn't have got a clue. I know it is somewhere, but I have no idea where, to be honest. But most men don't know about it. You know why? Because men are not...
shit.
Well, no, men are not a group. The whole idea of men as a group is ridiculous. Because men don't see themselves as a group defined by men. Somehow women do. Which is weird.
The in-group bias of women is women, whereas men have an outgroup bias towards women.
Yeah.
So both groups have a bias to women.
Well, I always love the fact that people seem to have forgotten that it's egalitarians that gave women rights and not feminism.
They're good at that, though, claiming things they didn't do.
True that. True that. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing now. Did you see it, by the way, Alicia? My shared image.
Parading around in stupid costumes since 1865.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Democrats. Oh yeah, KKK. Bastards.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. There we go. No, you guys were talking about balance before we got so rudely interrupted.
Let's see.
Okay, and now everyone is quiet. Come on. We got the two of
sorry.
you on. Come on.
Sorry. Oh, okay. So let's talk about this. Why in the world do they march? What are they marching for? And why do they have this complex of wanting to bring about equity when clearly equity ruins society?
I don't think they know why they're marching. If you ask them, nobody gives you the same answer.
Yeah,
This
and
is
lots
true,
of them
actually.
don't even have any answer.
They just cowl at you and walk away for asking the question.
They've been whipped up into a sense of indignation. And yet, if you ask many of these women, you say, "Okay, so you're paid a lot less," and they say, "No, I'm fine." Then who isn't?
Yeah,
They can't tell you because there isn't anybody, or else we'd hear nothing but cases of women being paid less for the same job.
That's the funny thing, though. I mean, hell, even Barack Obama talked about how women got paid less for the same job. Dude, you were the president of a country. The law ends with you. If you know that a woman is being underpaid, it's against the law. Why didn't you act?
No.
But that's the thing, though. Can you name me one case in the last, let's say, 40 years? Is it 40? Yeah, it's almost 50 years. It's almost 50 years.
Yeah.
No, in the last 50 years.
So that's 54.
Yeah, indeed. So in the last 50 years, where a company had to pay fines because they broke the law. Because paying a woman less for the same job as a man does is by law not allowed.
Well, okay, so let's take the law out of the equation for just a moment, because there is something to be said in a lot of communities where it wasn't that women weren't hired or weren't making the same amount of money, but when they came into the work environment, the good old boys club would do everything they could to push them out. And I think that if the women in the 70s and 80s could have articulated that a little better, then it wouldn't have turned into this shit that it's turned into. And I say that from personal experience when I got a job selling cars, and that's predominantly a male thing back. And mind you, this is 20 years ago. And I sold a car the first day. And it could have just been that because I was a natural salesperson because I'd done it my whole life, but it became very brutal and exclusive. And it's kind of like how women do that in like elementary schools to the male teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if society could actually articulate those things, because I think that's probably where I hope that's where it started. I could be wrong. But articulating. Sorry, go on.
So I have this. I have this theory. Okay, 35 years ago, when I was young and first came across feminists, they had this view that women were held back, that there were all these problems. You know, all the things you hear now, the glass ceiling and discrimination. And they have this view that if you took all the barriers away, naturally, and you hear this with the STEM argument now, naturally, women would gain parity, or more likely dominance, because most of them are supremacists, but they never have a problem with women doing better.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, even though all the legal and eventually the societal prejudices that Alicia talked about have disappeared. It hasn't happened. And why hasn't it happened? Because of personal choice and preference and the free market and the fact that women all do gender studies instead of STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they haven't got the outcome that they swore blind they would get, based on nothing but a faulty premise.
Well, way back when my husband and I were first starting out, I had women. This was during second wave feminism, when it was all it was really starting to get wound up. No, I'll take that back. Between second and third wave feminism, I was told that I don't need a man. We don't need a man for anything.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I chose to stay at home and raise my kids, holy crap, the shit I got.
And the shit you got from women, not from men.
Other women. Yes. From other women.
And that's happening now. And that's happening right now in Britain, when the darts girls are being attacked for their career choice by the feminists.
Didn't we say the
tell me
same
about
thing
it.
with the page 3 girls in the Sun?
Yeah. If you choose to be in the sun and get some $100 to, you know, or however much they pay to have your picture put, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if women can't be adults. I mean, if a woman makes a choice that a feminist doesn't agree with, that woman is wrong. But doesn't she have agency herself? Why can't women have agency?
I
It's
had
the whole-
one of my, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I had one of my best friends when I was staying home with the kids ask me, and we had a ranch too, so my husband went to work, and how we chose who stayed home was based on income. It wasn't based on who was what sex. It was he made more money than I did, and that's how we chose who stayed home. But I had one of my friends.
But this is not that weird.
No, that's
Sorry.
Go ahead, Alicia.
No, I feel you, Square Pig. But so when we decided who was going to stay home with Raven, we went off of Steve, not because I actually made more money, but he's more stable because I like to job hop and stuff. So we were like, maybe we should go with the more stable worker. Sorry, I was just thinking because it is a hard decision for a family to decide to go from 2 incomes to 1 income. It's terrifying, and it just brought me back to that conversation, and I was like, oh yeah.
You give up. We gave up a lot to be home, to have one of us home with kids.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
No
this is something.
disagreement here.
This is something Aeon is saying as well. Do you still remember those Postbus 51 spots in the Netherlands from 25 to 30 years ago, or even before that, to be honest, asking women and girls to make the right choice for their education to go into tech and STEM? And I can remember that because when I was 14 years old, something like that, so it's like 26, 27, 30 years ago, there was a girl in my class, and the math teacher pleaded her to go into math because she was really brilliant. And I'm not talking about, okay, some people are good at math, some people are less good at math. She was fucking brilliant. She could pick things up instantly. She recognized the language and she made it her own. And math is a language. So she really was good. And fuck it. If you're good at something, you're good at something. He pleaded with her to go into STEM. He pleaded her to go into maths. In the end, she didn't. And this is the thing. What we see when we're talking about how feminism pushes women to go into STEM, the more gender equality a society has, the less women go into STEM. We don't know why this is, but this is what's happening in the West for decennia. I mean, in Iran, where women have absolutely zero rights compared to men, well, a little more than zero, but okay, they're pretty much fucked. We see women go into STEM. But if we look in countries like America, in Sweden claiming to be the first country in the world that's run by feminism, women don't go into STEM. Everything is put out there for them. They're not going into STEM. A few years ago in Australia, they started, how do you call it when you pay for students? I can't remember the name now.
Scholarship?
Yes, thank you. They started a scholarship for veterinarians for big animals, so cows and ranch animals. Because most vets went for home animals, and most of those vets were women. So they started a scholarship for ranch animals. And they targeted men. They didn't target women because that was useless. Women started complaining that there was a men-only scholarship. 90% of the students in veterinarian courses to become a vet, 90% of them were women. Yeah. And they're complaining about that there's a scholarship for men only. But as soon as there's a study where only 30% of women are taking the studies, there are scholarships for women only. But that's okay. Yeah. The whole pushing agenda. No, women have to be the same as men. Listen, women can do the same work as men if they want to, but they don't want to. Feminism keeps pushing it time and time again, but women don't want to.
And it's because it's not a competition. That's what I think is wrong with feminists, is they act like it's a competition and they're robbing women of our God-given powers. And I'm not speaking God religiously, but like naturally. We get to carry babies. Do you know how fucking wonderful that is? That's like I feel bad for men because you never get to experience what it's like to carry life inside you. It's like fucking awesome. And you guys are denied that right by nature, and you will never. That is the most profound, most magical, most excellent thing ever. But they act like it's shit because they don't know. And in reality, women have one up on men because men will never be able to carry a baby ever.
But that's the thing, though, because I have seen some feminists admit that it's really a battle against their own biology. And they'll admit that and then finish with, and that's why men are oppressors, or how men are oppressors. They can't just stop at, we're fighting our biology. They have to tag, and that's how men are oppressors. So it's all men's fault that their biology is what they're unhappy with.
Why? Why are they unhappy with? I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Well, they're their worst enemies. The feminists are their worst enemies.
Well, the feminists are the worst enemy of women.
Yes.
And of society, in all fairness.
But the worst thing is now, if a woman says, my wife didn't want children. She said to me, I don't want children. I want a job. No argument. No one is pressuring her to do otherwise. And yet all these feminists are acting like it's at 1850 and everyone is pressuring them otherwise.
And then they'll flip it on you and say it's your fault that she doesn't want to have children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no matter what you do, you're wrong. No matter what, as a man, no matter what you do, you're wrong. No matter what we do, we're right. No matter what we do, it's your fault. And then they go, "What? Why aren't you a feminist?" It's only about equality.
But that's the thing, though. And feminism isn't about equality. This is the worst thing about feminism, and I can't believe that people keep neglecting this one point. Feminism is not just against patriarchy and men. Feminism is against women.
But most people know it.
Yeah, but no one addresses it.
Because
When
we're
we
not-
talk-
because everyone's scared shitless because they're so vicious.
It is
Well,
vicious.
They
I
are
think
so
the thing that
vicious.
disturbs me most now about feminism, bless you,
Thank you.
is that it's coming around to, okay, we're not getting our way, so now we have to demonize men and we have to destroy men. And
But
now
that's
they're
what's
starting with little kids. Now
but
it's
that's what it's always been.
well, now it's your babies, your male children are born evil. They're born
Yeah.
rapists.
Yeah.
They're born
Yeah,
criminals.
that's fucked up. Yeah.
It's
But
horrible.
though it's fucked up, that is actually our best hope.
Well,
How so?
it makes very clear how toxic
Yeah.
feminism is.
Because they're shedding the veil of their compassion and their love, and it's just about equality. And then when people say, okay, then why are you acting like a batshit loon?
I think it was The Onion who based. I'm not sure if it was The Onion. It was one of those sarcasm
Satirical?
websites. Sorry?
Yeah.
And they stopped.
Satirical.
Yeah, it was a satirical website. Sorry. They stopped publishing satirical feminism crap because no matter how stupid they thought their satirical crap was, not too long after, it would be on everyday feminism as a real thing because someone else already said it or someone else already wanted it.
Yep.
All I have to say is free bleeding.
Well, yeah. And somehow they then proved that not only women bleed, because trans women bleed as well. And I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Prove
if you're
it.
a woman and you want to be a man, but you still have a vagina, so you still bleed, guess what? You're still a woman.
Well, I think that the Olympics and elite sports are going to bring feminism down, because have you seen how many transgender women are going to be competing, and they get to keep their dicks.
Oh,
They get to keep their dicks.
This is really brilliant. I mean, I think it was a guy from Australia who became. He won in the female weightlifting something or other.
But
Yeah,
no, look
He
at the
was a
list now.
mediocre man. I mean, he
It's worse. It's worse now. You're seeing volleyball players from small countries going, holy shit, I only have to take estrogen. Think about that. Think about the cost effectiveness of this. You only have to take estrogen for 1 year, and you can compete in the Olympics. In most small countries, the prize, it's like, in some countries it's $500,000. Sure, in the US it's only 20,000, but in other countries it is so cost effective. And not only that, so they'll win the money, they'll get endorsement deals, and then they'll be called brave.
Yeah. And it's even worse because they started. What's the name of that MMA fighter? There was an MMA fighter.
Oh yeah.
Who became a woman.
Yeah.
And women who fought. Well, him. There were top MMA female fighters that fought him and were absolutely without chance because the upper body strength of a man, the skeletal build of a man, it's vastly superior when it comes to fighting than it is of a woman. I mean, there was one of the top women was like, I was absolutely chanceless. He nearly broke her skull.
Yeah. The bone's different. The breathing is different. The way that we heal is different. It's all our muscles are different. It's not even me and my husband are exactly the same size, and he could kick my ass.
Yeah, no problem. And then they say, but he's been taking estrogen for a long time. Yeah, that's okay, mate. The muscles are already built. They're already there.
Yeah.
You went through puberty as a man.
Yeah.
That's where it counts.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me so mad, but I've been telling people maybe we just need to let it happen. Just let it happen.
And that was what I was saying. That's the sad thing. There'll be victims, but they have to defeat themselves.
I think you're right.
It's a shame though, because there are
No, but
vast
you
differences.
can't fight them. That's the trouble, because they twist everything every time you try and use any reasonable argument.
What's sad is, so my younger sister, she was going to be in the Olympics at one point. She I can't tell you how hard. She's a speed skater. She worked harder than I've ever seen a girl work ever, but then she fucked it all up. She did an opening race for the Olympics when they were here in Utah. She fucked it up, but the amount of work that girl had to do every day, it's not a fucking hobby.
No,
she was getting up at 4 a.m. and all day long. That's what kills me, is that some man that would not be able to compete with men now get to win as a woman. And what they're doing is they're destroying a true feminist would be a woman that strives to do something that's not traditional. These things are not traditional. So the true feminist, the true runner, the true volleyball player, the speed skater that works day in and day out to be all she can be, she's the one that's going to get shit on.
Yep, it's all for naught. All that work, it's over because some man just walked in and took it from you.
Yeah, it's ironic.
A man that couldn't even compete with other men.
Yes. Okay, a while ago, I used to do triathlons, and this is the first time I ever ran into this. I went into, getting ready to race, getting ready to set up, went into the restroom, walked out of the restroom, and my sister, who is also a triathlon, I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. And right beside me, this person walks out of the restrooms, and okay, it's time to race. It was a guy, and I was so upset. Yeah. What was this guy doing here? But that it was an all-women's race.
Oh my God! See that the bathroom thing can't happen in Utah because our sex laws are so molestation laws are so strict that you can't even. So everybody has to change, even like behind curtains, because if you're over 14. You cannot be seen naked at all by someone under the age of 14. So a man going into a girl's shower in the bathroom, it would be a one-way ticket to jail.
This guy that's a pretty good way to do it. This guy was transitioning.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. In Utah, it doesn't matter the way that they wrote the law. They outlined penis. The only thing that they said that can't be is if a woman is breastfeeding. So that's the only time that a breast could be exposed, is if they're feeding an infant.
Which I think is actually a good way of putting it. Listen, in the Netherlands, we have male and female restrooms in certain places. But a lot of places don't even have male and female restrooms. They just have restrooms.
Ew.
Yeah, they have that in Colorado.
Listen, if I'm in the toilet, don't worry about it. If I'm in the toilet, you shouldn't be, because there's only one toilet.
Oh, okay. Yes, See, that would be a great solution. Is you just have like single
individual ones.
Yeah.
That's how they do it a lot in Colorado.
It's basically like a walk-in closet with a toilet.
Yeah,
it's not a single stall. It's just that. And so that doesn't matter. Well, I identify as a woman. So fucking what? I think I'm a man. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to check up on you, and I don't want you to come check up on me. I don't understand this whole... Sorry?
There.
But this is the thing that listen, I'm not for transgenderism. I'm not against it. I don't understand how this is a topic at all. It's a mental disorder, for fuck's sake.
With me, I didn't want to compete against a man. That was my instantly. That was my instant reaction. Was, oh, I have to race against a guy. This is a woman's race.
This is true for so many things. I mean, oh, this happened a few years ago. The female team, the female soccer team of Australia, had a test match against 15-year-old boys, and it was a test match because they wanted to train, etc., etc., etc. They got absolutely slaughtered. This is the female adult soccer team of Australia, the best female soccer players against a random group of 15-year-old boys. And they got absolutely massacred. Why? Because physically, men and women are different. I mean, a few years ago, everyone likes to think that, what's the name of that tennis woman, the black woman?
Serena Williams?
Serena Williams. Everyone likes to think, oh, she's the best tennis player in the world. Oh, she can beat everyone. No, she can't. So she challenged men to take her up on a match. And a guy, and I forgot his name, I think he was number 600 on the world stage at the time, something like that. He took her up on the challenge, and he absolutely trounced her. But yeah, okay, she's the best female tenniser in the world. I'm not going to deny that, but don't compare that to men. There are strengths and weaknesses in both sexes. And when it comes to physicality, the strength lies with men.
I'm pretty sure I kicked that guy's ass, though.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure I beat you.
Now, can I tell you what women actually do have better so that we don't leave women out in the cold here? Women actually heal faster, and we can go longer than men. And so when I was putting together my Olympics thing, I said, if you could come up with a competition where speed is taken out. So if it's just a walk competition, right? So it's just walking. And distance-wise, a woman would actually be able to beat a man.
Endurance.
Because of endurance. Now, obviously, we can't, if you have speed in there, we're not going to win. But if you were to just say 3 miles an hour, right? 3 miles an hour walking. A woman, if they both train the same and they're of similar proportions, not speed walking. I said 3 miles per hour. So if they both walked, a woman can outwalk a man.
Yeah, but as soon as you start talking about speed walking, then I'm sorry, you're lost already, because then you have to
I think the problem with feminism is they only see men and what men do, and they only focus on that, and they're missing out on the fact that women can do some pretty fucking cool things. Yeah. Why don't the feminists focus on the cool shit we can do?
But that's the thing. I mean, okay, on average, men are better at math, just to name one thing, on average. But women can be fucking brilliant at math too, especially once a woman starts recognizing math as a language. Technically speaking, women should be better at math than men, because women are better at picking up languages than men, on average.
But there's also the logic thing, which is the other side of the brain.
And there lies the problem. And this is also why a lot of women don't go for stuff like that, because women, even though women's mind is set up to work with languages better than men do, women tend to go for the emotional stuff, which they're also better at than men on average. This is, for example, why you will find... Sorry, go on.
I just say, I think there's another problem. I don't know what it's like in your countries, but in Britain, when I was going through school, exams were quite hard. And then there's this thing where they're saying they're always being dumbed down. And now people, they go through the first set of exams and they get all A's and A pluses and A stars and A whatever, because even A's aren't high enough to demarcate the people at the top. And they have, so they're across the board brilliant. And then they go on to the next level. And they're across the board brilliant. And this presents a problem, because no one is actually finding out what they're good at and what they're bad at. And so it purely comes down to, what do I like?
Yeah. And if we look at the choices women make, in the freer a society is, the more likely women choose things that they enjoy. Whereas men don't really choose the thing they enjoy the most, they choose the thing in which they can excel the most.
No, but
Because
we
we
also
need that
enjoy
for a
different
job.
things. We also
Sorry?
enjoy different things.
We do, but we don't choose our job based solely on what we enjoy. Where a woman does, we do not.
But
Men
my
look
point
further than
was
just enjoyment.
you were talking about that girl you knew who was brilliant at maths,
Yeah.
but she didn't pursue it.
No.
But if everything she does, she's brilliant at.
Not
Even
everything
though
she she's not brilliant at everything, though.
No, I'm just saying the way it is now, you get so many people who are brilliant. You know, they couldn't get a higher grade at anything because they're at the top. And so even though they stand out at one subject, that itself doesn't stand out because of the marking system.
Okay. But I don't understand why wouldn't, I mean, I don't understand why she didn't go on in math, but why wouldn't women go into STEM if they are good at it? Men,
I went into STEM. Hey, hashtag not all women. I went into STEM. I paid for my college with a chemistry scholarship. What?
And then you're one of the few. How many women in your class?
You know what's funny? Do you want me to be honest?
Yes.
There was, it only started, so it started out with, I think there was 6. And then by the end, there was 3. And yeah.
See, now I'm a social worker. Yeah, I'm a social therapist. In my education, there were 5 guys out of the 45. Most people in my line of work are women. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think women are bad at this work. They choose this work because they are better at recognizing emotional situations, which is great in psychiatry and healthcare, in all fairness. I still think that every team should have at least one man because not everything is emotional. Luckily, most people kind of agree with that. And not all women are fully emotional either. But women tend to be better at the emotional thing. They're better at raising children, for example. This is not because I like this to be true. This is proven to be true up until a certain age. Because at a certain age, the man becomes very important, especially for boys, but also for women. And this is something we don't really like to point out. The thing is, men and women need each other. We are vastly different, but we complement each other. And the whole idea that one is better than the other, I'm sorry, yeah, but if you're going to measure someone based on what you think is better or worse, then you're going to miss out a lot of other stuff. It's like you're having a bunch of animals and you're going to judge them about who will be best at climbing a tree. I'm sorry, if you're a fish, you're not going to manage.
Good
but
analogy.
if the monkey helps you up the tree, that's great.
Yeah, but then you're still not doing it. Then you're being brought.
This is true. That's right.
Square. I mean, and Alicia, you too. I mean, I've seen your videos, Square, and I've seen your work as well, Alicia. The two of you are smart women. I assume you're women. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not misgendering you.
You just assume my gender, bro. Stop with that shit.
I'm so hurt.
I go by Z, there, and Zit.
Yes, I can
Zit?
little.
Hey, I couldn't think of anything that popped out. Zit.
Okay, so you're a Zit. Anyway, no, but I mean, you guys are smart, and you will be bigger on YouTube than I will be because you're women, so people tend to listen to women more than they do to men.
Whoa,
I'm not complaining.
Oh,
No, I'm gonna disagree with that one.
I disagree.
That's contentious. I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah,
know that.
okay, maybe so. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fuck that. I don't have to be right always. But I mean, the two of you are smart, and I'm not saying John isn't smart, by the way, but we're talking about
No,
the
I'm
two.
not.
Yes, you are, mate. But okay, we're not talking about you. The two of you are smart. You want to be measured, I assume. You want to be judged by what you do, not by how other people perform to make you perform.
Yes. Correct.
You want to be, in the end, to be able to say, this is what I did. Okay, I got help from friends, but in the end, this is what I did. You don't want to be able to say, this is where they brought me. Oh yeah, no, I'm the CEO of a company. What did you do before that? Well, I asked people politely and they just make me say CEO. Yeah, but what skills do you have? I can ask people to make me CEO.
You just got to fuck the right person.
Yep.
And I can't understand that people are content with being that person. Who are you? Well, I'm someone else carried on up to the top of the stairs. But you didn't climb yourself. No, I got brought here. How can you be content with that?
But it's not just that. The people who are given the leg up aren't as motivated and won't succeed.
Yeah. Listen,
So
I
you're
will
not
never
doing
be
them any favors.
No, I'll never be a CEO. I'll probably never be a big YouTuber because I want to for example, go into talks with Sargon about cultural cohesive states, because I think his liberalism is pretty funny, but what he's doing is he's just going to go into the identity politics just from a different angle, but he's still going to be an identity politician. Tree of Logic talked about how she's no longer a fan of alt-right. She never really was a fan of alt-right, etc., etc.
Only because they treat her like shit.
Yes, but I mean, these people are still.
Seriously,
I know.
I really object to that argument. Oh, I like the alt-right until they treat me like shit. No, hang on. You judge people on their ideas.
Yeah, this is the problem. But part of the problem is that these people. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm against the regressive left because I am a libertarian. Yeah, I'm sorry, but then you're still playing the same ideology game. You're just playing the same ideology game from a different angle. I'm against feminism, but I am in favor of MRAs. I'm sorry, but you're still playing identity games. If you're against feminism, be an egalitarian.
Sorry, Modwain. It isn't quite as simple in that case.
But it is though.
No, it isn't. And I'll tell you why. Because most MRAs are really human rights activists.
Then call yourself a human rights.
No, they didn't choose the labels. They didn't choose.
For the ones that didn't. Yes, for the ones that didn't choose the label themselves, like a Paul Elam. I wouldn't call Paul Elam a human rights activist. A man's rights activist.
You have to listen to what they're actually advocating, and they don't advocate on the basis of sex.
No, I know. So, like I said, but they don't call themselves MRA.
No, they do. I'm talking about the MRAs. Having listened to them and having paid attention, they don't advocate on the basis of sex. The only reason that comes up is because they have to constantly push back against feminist opposition.
Yes, but then call yourself an egalitarian. Call yourself a humanist.
Yeah, but the point is they don't pick the framework, the basis in which it all happens. Yeah, the feminists created the environment. The feminists set the rules. The feminists provide the opposition. You get shanty binks going, well, then set up your own movement. And then when they do, they get shut on for setting up their own movement, which is all they did was what she told them to do. And they can't win because the feminists don't want them to win.
But that's because you keep fighting them on their same how do you call it?
That's not what I'm saying. The feminism is so entrenched, it's so well-funded, it's so dominant.
Yeah.
It sets the game. And if you're a man and you say, right, I'm interested in all victims of domestic violence, and the feminists say, well, we've got this covered, you don't need to do it. Right, well, we need to also bring men into the equation.
Yeah, but instead of just saying we need to bring also men into the equation, because as soon as you do that, you concede the floor to them.
No, sorry, go back a bit. I said you start off by saying, we want to look at domestic violence. And the feminists say, we've got that covered.
Yeah, but as soon as you allow them that,
but you don't. It's not allowed. They're dominant. They have society. The Duluth model is in place.
I know.
Law.
I know. No, John, I understand what you're saying, but you're missing one small detail.
No one's letting them do anything.
No, that's not true.
No,
that's the worst part of it. No, it's not true. Because as soon as I'm going to argue a feminist on male right versus female right, I'm going to their level.
No, you're missing the point. The men's right activists just want to fix the problem. They don't even want an argument.
But then they should just focus on the problem. They shouldn't be.
They do. They do.
No, they very
often strawmans the men's rights movement.
John,
they're this, they're that. But the men's rights people just focus on the issues.
Fair enough. But when I talk about people like Sargon, when I talk about
he's
people
not a
like
men's right activist.
No. But it's the same concept. Yeah? We have an issue. We want to address that issue. People steer us in a different direction, and we let them steer us. We should not let them steer us. For example, as soon as we start talking about how men's and women's rights should be equal, I might mention, yeah, but men, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but women. Okay. So we agree then that people should be equal. Yeah, but women. No, wait a second. We were talking about equality. We should not talk about men versus women. But somehow, this is what it always boils down to. We're not in favor of nationality.
Men's right activists do not advocate for men. They advocate against the issues that affect men. There's a fundamental difference.
Yeah, but
feminists advocate for women.
For women, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But the men's rights activists do not advocate for men. They advocate for the issues that affect men.
But that's not how...
if that includes women, they will advocate for women.
Which they should.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be talking...
The men's right label is a label. That's all it is. It's a label.
I think we might agree and we might disagree on certain semantic parts. But what I wanted to say and what it boils down to me is that we should stop. I mean, when I always invite people to come and discuss, but we should stop to make this a group versus group thing.
Yeah, I quite agree. But if one group is dominant and perpetually forcing that issue, what do?
Not go along with it.
No, but what if you can't help it because they are the dominant cultural influence?
You can always decide your own reactions, so you can help some part of it.
And you're perpetually being attacked and defamed and libeled and slandered.
You can still always decide your own actions.
Yes, but
yeah, I'm sorry we disagree on this, John, but I really think
I agree a little bit.
I really think in the end, and I'll let you talk next.
No, but you only can do what you are allowed to do within society.
Yes, so
we live in context. We live in context.
We do.
And that context is feminism.
But you can still decide for your own actions.
Yes, you can decide for your own actions. But if you go out and you do something positive and all the media hears is that you're a bunch of haters who do nothing and only oppose feminism, that's what society sees you as.
Yes, but then you say don't how do you say this? Don't argue the point, but show what you do.
Yeah, and that's what they do, and they still get defamed, and they still get attacked, and they still get people believing that they're doing things other than what they are, as you are proving literally right now.
I'm not really sure I agree with you on that one, John. I'm sorry.
Exactly. you're proving my point.
Yeah, okay, if that's how you want to see it. Listen,
No,
go on.
Can I interject for just a second?
on, Alicia,
Hey,
go on.
I see what both of you are actually saying. So Modwain is taking the higher road because no matter what, you are in control of yourself. Even if you're being led up to the guillotine, you still have the ability to choose how you're going to behave. And in that one moment before you are sentenced to death, you can make a very valid statement by that. But at the same time, John is also correct that some fuckers are walking me towards the guillotine. And that's what feminism is doing. It's walking our society to the guillotine.
Yeah, but I often start, for example, I make videos talking against feminism, but I do so because I want people to engage. Now, it's very difficult to get a feminist to engage, but I'm going to try it anyway. And once they engage, I'm not talking about how I think feminism is wrong. I'm trying to talk about equality. And I think we should all be talking about equality. It's the same thing that when we're talking about, I like to think of the best concepts being the cultural cohesive state, which is an improved version of civic nationalism, which is the basis of America, which isn't that great to begin with. The civic nationalism part, sorry. I don't like to talk about ethnicities because it doesn't mean anything. But as soon as I start talking about the cultural cohesive state with someone who is either in favor of one ethnicity or the other ethnicity, I'm not talking about ethnicity. They are talking about ethnicity. I'm not going to counter their points because by merely countering their points, I already give credence to them.
That's a noble place to stand. And I feel, Modwain, that is a great goal and place to be. And it's most noble and all of that. But at the same time, there are ideologies, and I'm not talking about ethnicities. There are ideologies that their very nature is destructive and corrosive. And how are we supposed to approach that in a positive light?
I'm not saying that in a positive light. Listen, there are plenty of things, there are plenty of cultures that are absolutely destructive. We should not accept all cultures. I'm not saying that we have to accept the negative ways of certain things. But to combat that, I'm not sure if it's useful to continuously talk about, yeah, I think that's bad, because then they're going to, yeah, but I think that's bad, or I don't think it's bad, and you get a back and front talking about issues.
Can I just say two things about? Sorry to go.
Yeah, go on.
This. Men's rights. Okay, first, the only thing you're criticizing is the words men's rights.
No.
Because no, it is because men's rights activists advocate on issues irrespective of who is affected.
Yeah, but no, listen, this isn't even criticism on men's rights activism, because I understand where they come from.
No, but you're saying it's about men's rights, and it's not. That's just the name.
I'm not saying it's about men's rights. What I am saying is that if we're going to argue on how do I rephrase this? We have to try to keep the argument away from anything that can be causing polarization.
Okay, right. In which case, I go back to my point. There's a famous video from Toronto 3-4 years ago. Warren Farrell was giving a talk.
Yeah. And the people outside wanted to go inside because they didn't feel safe outside.
No, and the women protested, the feminists protested, they pulled the fire alarm, they shut it down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you want to do if your opponents literally stop you doing it.
I understand what you're saying, and in this situation,
So what I'm saying is, you don't blame the victim. You don't blame the people to whom it's happening and saying it's your fault. They weren't doing anything. They weren't doing anything anti-feminist. They weren't making it about women.
You're not understanding my point. Then I'm sorry, John. I'll try to say it in a different way, because what the feminists
said you mustn't polarize, and I'm saying they weren't polarizing.
I'm not saying they were polarizing. Not in this situation, anyway. I understand.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I hear the motorcycle has arrived, so I need to go.
Well, considering it's 2 a.m., maybe it is a good time to stop, actually.
I have to go tonight. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to have you guys more often. You're more than welcome. I mean, you usually hang out in my chat anyway, so.
We like the chat box, so we can talk about P9.
Yeah, because that's why I brought you on, but somehow we got distracted with silly stuff like politics and all that.
I hate to say this, but I don't want to talk about P9.
Yes, we do.
Okay, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I get it. No, it's been a lot of fun. I like this. I love your chat. I love your chat box. That's why I come and I wait so I can be in it. And I totally respect you, Modwain. I look up to you in all that you do. Yeah. So.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I'm going to head out too, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to call it all quits. Do you guys want to shill your work or anything? Or
yeah, go watch my latest video.
Mine too.
Everybody, go ahead. It's ELICIACLEGG. And I will go watch all of yours too. We'll do a group exchange thing.
Okay,
Alicia, can you tell me? All I see is square. That's all that.
Square peg.
So I don't know who's square peg.
Square peg. Yeah. I wrote my cheat sheet down, so I'm gonna go look up all of these new fabulous YouTubers, and I'm super excited.
Well, thank you for your compliment. I do like your work, Alicia, and I do like your work too, Square Peg, and I really look forward to your next video, John. It has been a while.
Yeah, well, you know why.
Yeah. Real life and all that. I totally agree, mate.
Don't let real life get in the way. Just kidding.
Yes.
I had to.
I know, John. I'm just kidding. I'm being glib. I shouldn't be like that. I love you. Sorry.
But yeah, I do look forward to the next.
Sometimes there's real life and there's real life.
Yeah. Sometimes you can walk away, sometimes you can't. And we totally understand that.
The problem is I've written one script, but I need to do at least 3 before I can really start.
Well,
no, just put it up. Put it up. You don't need to
No, because they all interlink, so I need to know where I'm going. Because I'm
don't overthink it.
Just wing it.
No,
wing it.
Wing it.
Wing it.
The next one is about rules and ideology.
Do it.
You do know I'm anti-social pressure. The more you pressure, the less I'll do it.
Do it.
Don't do it then.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. You have to be nonchalant. It's the opposite. So you have to go, yeah, we don't care.
I just don't care. It's all right, John. Do it when you feel like you need to do it. No pressure.
Seriously, though, no pressure. But I do look forward to seeing your stuff next time.
And then the third one, the clincher, is a history of what Marxism, or the precursor to what Marxism was.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of then looking at exactly why what we call Marxists today are bourgeoisie enemies of Marxism.
Wow.
It's kind of funny though, because if we look at what Marxism advocated when Marxism was real, and if we look at the people who are advocating for Marxism now,
they were the bourgeoisie. They
would be the bourgeoisie for sure. But no, well.
I cannot claim unique insight into this. I shared with Alicia an article about Jordan Peterson, which made exactly these points.
Yeah, my wife wanted to make a video, or maybe a series of videos, on how what we're seeing in Europe now is basically the continuation of communism. She lived in Poland, and Poland has a unique perspective of what communism was and what democracy is, and etc., etc. I'm not saying Poland is a perfect country at the moment, but one of the reasons why they are so stern against the European Union is because they remember Russia pretty well.
Of course.
And
this is what I was saying about how so many in the West are drawn to these ideologies because they have literally no idea of what they're like.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Yeah, we're going to call it quits. I'm sorry. Thank you, Alicia, for coming. Yeah. See you next time. Thank you, Square Pack, for coming. And thank you, John, for coming. And earlier I had Carlos Castreo with me, and I had Rin Michaelis with me. I can't thank them now personally because they're already gone. But thank you, people in the chat, for following us. And I hope to see you all next week. I have no clue what the topic will be then. Square Peg, John, and Alicia have channels. Follow them. And anyone else want to say something before I hang up?
No, thank you. Okay,
so then we're going to go offline.